Okay, so now we're back, and if you bear with me again for a second here, I'm gonna unmute all, and then I'm gonna mute you again, but this time you'll be able to unmute yourself. And so if you have specific questions, either I or maybe someone in the call.
Just mute your mic.
What are you working on?
Ooh.
So now if you guys want to straight up unmute yourself, you can ask a question, or you can still just chime in here in the chat. So general questions.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for this, all this information. There's in the option menu, there's a lot of property files in addition to the user properties files. Can you explain the logic, the role of these different files there? There's one for folder, for projects, or have you worked with it?
You know, no, I'm not. I'm definitely not an expert on that. Maybe someone else knows. I'm trying to. When you said folder, no, I know I had at one point enabled bookmarks, and bookmarks you can have it saved within your file, and for some reason, one of those two I think had to do with that, but I don't recall what it does. But let's see if there's mine are blank, or actually that doesn't even site properties. That doesn't even look like it opened the right file. Yeah, which is one of the criticisms I hear of with SciTE is that it's just overwhelming in the options, which I understand. Open per project properties. So I guess that file doesn't even exist. But this is what I typically do. So let's do this. First, I have a little hotkey that'll search the forum and site, and for Stack Overflow. Run from include SciTE4. I was just looking to see if someone has my site properties or site directory properties file has commented on it. But no, I know some of these. Let me get back to here. You know, a lot of these down here I think exist after I've included them, and so they show up down here just to let you know that you can easily jump to them.
Yeah. And there are some that we should not modify. We should use
Yes.
the user property to override what is in the global properties file, isn't it?
It's I think it's a little bit even more elaborate than that. Is that there are all of these files. I think my guess. Let's see, what would that work? Probably is like the global properties applies first, and then some of these other ones, and these also get applied, and then the user properties files gets applied last.
So you have the last word.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And let me give you a good demonstration of that. In my user properties files, which seems crazy, probably, but I have I redefined some of the AutoHotkey words, right? And so I went and found the AutoHotkey. Let me see if I can HK keywords. So I came in here and I basically borrowed. I tried, but even then, I wanted to respect everyone thinks and everyone's hard work on this. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it the other way. But I wanted to have when I'm in a file and I'm concatenating a lot of text together, and there's quotes and unquotes and new lines. So let's say I wanted to have, or actually it's more when I have a bunch of variables, but I can type _enter. Oh, interesting. It's, you know, I'm gonna have to go add that. But see how that gets, the color coding gets applied, _return. It really should be like new line. In my default folder file, which I usually include, I have defined this to basically, this is a variable I wrote. So like up here, equals that in my other file. And then it allows me to not have to go and put in, when I'm typing a bunch of variables. So really it'd be more like this. Message box var, blah, 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 var2, right? I don't have to put the quote /r/n, whatever. Well, I wanted this to be highlighted. And so it it wouldn't. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but when I tried doing it here, it didn't quite work right. And then I tried adding just it to here. Unfortunately, when I did that, it only had that one, and so I had to add everything from the other and some. And so somewhere in here, so there's my a_return, which wouldn't be in your guys' files because I added that, but it allowed me to tweak it, right, and have, like you said, the last say of what actually gets used. I don't know about you guys, but this Tillago, I get boy, I got a lot of stuff open. I get annoyed with how many things show up in my system tray, and also that would show up. That's interesting. I can't right click on that. It would show up, when you, I think what hit F, do a search or something, and I just never used it, and so I disabled that. There's anyway, I got a lot of other custom settings, but if someone has any other questions, let me see. Have you used a Smart GUI Creator in SciTE? Do you know how one can reload an existing GUI back into Smart GUI? Boy, I years ago I used, I believe, is it this button? Yeah. What is, that was weird. Let me try Control-1. You know what, let me just close SciTE and reload it. And close a bunch of this other stuff. There we go. Years ago, I used this tool some, and I agree it can be helpful, but no, I don't typically. Now I still suck at GUIs, right? To be honest, but I don't suck nearly as much as I did, and so I generally now build them by hand. I don't recall if there's a way GUI stealer. So this one you can, if I remember right, yeah, you can highlight any window, not even an AutoHotkey window. But let's come back to like here, and let's say I'm going to open, and now I'm going to hit F12. I think that's what the hotkey said to hit. Oh, and it grabbed that file, so it built this part, right? So you can go, and sometimes on some windows, I tested it once, and I was like, wow, even really complicated windows, it was doing a pretty good job of getting the look of it. Now, the functionality, of course, is not going to be there, but sometimes building GUIs, I don't know about you, but building GUIs could be a pain. So what you could probably do is, why can't I close that? Save, and no save one, no. There we go. What you could probably do is run your. So the question was also about importing it back into it, and so you could run it and then go grab it, from there and import it back into the GUI stealer. I'm sorry, the GUI builder, but yeah, it's not the end all be all, definitely. There are a couple other ones. Maestriath actually has one, and I stumbled on one the other day. I don't know if I bookmarked it. Let me see if I did, because it was pretty amazing. No, that's the one. Yeah, I'm sure I kept it somewhere, but it did GUIs, created GUIs really easily, and kind of stacked them, but it's for the quick and dirty, right? I wouldn't use a GUI creator for something I really was going to polish. Oh, Auto GUI is better. Okay. Yeah, I've seen several out there that do different things, and they're helpful. Is there anything else with SciTE in particular that anyone cares about? Or I mean, I can also just kind of scroll through my user properties file and talk to things if anyone cares or doesn't care. I don't want to keep talking if people don't care.
You know in what file we can change the color of the highlights and these background colors?
Sure, that's in your user properties file. Yeah, and that's where. Let me see. So here's where I'm changing the foreground and background, right, of the selected stuff, but and this is where I think, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, is this sort of similar to CSS type, the way it's used? But I got really confused on it. I can definitely say these are the settings to do it. What because there were so many different levels and different also, let's see, somewhere down here. So these, oh, actually that was another thing I did, was I changed the matching braces, which it just wasn't strong enough, and so I changed how it looks in AutoHotkey for the let me see, where do I have, oh, here we go. So these matching braces, and see how when I highlighted it's that strong blue, it made it really easy for me to pop, and I believe that is what I was doing in this code here. But these different styles, that's what it's doing. So the trouble is there's the main one, and the output is not trouble, because of course it's nice that you could have, if you wanted, like the dark background up here and your output pane the white version or whatever, right? You can custom, but to me, I would rather just be like, you know what, mirror the two. Of course, you can copy and paste, I'm sure, but they are individual, so you can change them. Also, which is another, I'm sure you guys have seen this, but the vertical split. So depending on your layout, right? Some people like having it where you can see a lot more this way. If you have a really, really wide screen, which most people do these days, that can be helpful, because if you have a lot of text, it's obviously easier to see that. I have the default set to be to always tell it to not use that, and also to control the wrapping. Let me see. Oh, and also, it was I just noticed some of this over there about the margin width. So this distance in here, right, and between the numbers in the beginning, I didn't like the defaults there, so I changed those. I also set to where the toolbars are large. Let me see if that, I don't think that updates. Yeah, I'd have to, let me close it and then reopen site. And so see how the buttons are smaller? And so I'll change that back to 1, just because I like having, even, you know what? Yeah, whatever. I like having them a little bit larger. This one, if I remember right, if you're working in a file and it detects that if that file has been updated, so if I clicked off of it and came back, it would say, hey, do you want to reload the file? It's been updated. So that's handy. Another one I have in here somewhere is the file size. I think it was that second one. Here we go. So the max file size, if I mean, maybe someone can help me, I think it's 20 megs. It isn't that I've limited SciTE to say, do not open files more than 20 megs. What I've done is it will warn me if I drop a file on here that's over 20 megs, it'll say, are you sure you want to open that? You know, parens idiot. Because typically, why would you, you're not opening large files in SciTE more often than not. And so at least comes up with a warning, and I can just hit no and not go through this painful, it's got to load, and then it doesn't render correctly and whatnot. Here's where I set the title path, and so these are the different settings. Let me see if that updates. So see my title bar just dynamically updated right there. So you can customize that. I am less hairy. Thank you. Cat mode, yes. I decided to shave and take off 20 years of how old I looked. Let's see. This is the fine stuff. This is my warning. So warning not found. This is the audio. I have it play, which can be very funny in meetings at work. I think those are the majority of the really interesting, helpful stuff. This font quality, if I remember right, there's that one, and there's another one, the anti-aliasing, and it when I was on a laptop, those really helped me have it look better. I would just say try a couple different options. As I mentioned earlier, make sure I think if you have a space anywhere in here, it doesn't work. So make sure you keep no spaces in there. Oh, you know what? Also, so let's up in here, you can see what extension manager. See, I thought I had some extensions installed, but this was some other area I didn't even realize existed. And these, again, you're not supposed to play with, but you know, if you do so at your own risk. But the you know what, I should have tried, because I have that control run up reload script. I had one when it would control shift R run on active. Let me see if that works on using it this way. So it's that one, run on active. Whoa, that did not work. I don't even know what it did. That was weird. Oh, it's a script example. Thank you. Okay. I used to have it, and I know one of them, Control Shift R, but I know I had one that it didn't show up with the icon, and I guess I just didn't have the icon, so it would be hidden. Oh, okay. So you guys are saying it's dumping that text into my script, which is another way you could basically have like hot strings almost, right? It's just going to dump in some pre-code, or might run the script or whatnot. But by far, the user properties files is what you end up wanting to edit. Here, I tell it to set the default for both of these to UTF-8 for the encoding. Oh, it looks like I have this output magnification more than once, because I didn't think that was right there. But so the split vertical is 0, so that's how I tell it always keep it this way instead of the other way. This vertical size tells it, if I remember right. So actually, I don't know if that, but you can adjust it, and I think for this way it'll say how much of the screen default to take up. If you want it to always, which I think this is the default, but I like having it hard coded here too, to clear the output when you run it, which is nice. Do you have any experience scraping a PDF file? Yeah, let me tackle that in a second, Captain. I have a couple things I've figured out for getting text out of a PDF, and let me see if there's any other questions with this, and just skim through if there's any other good finds in here. But this, if you want to have it automatically trim white space in your file for you, which I kind of like and kind of don't like. The thought of something happening automatically to my files without me knowing what scares me, but I've had this set for a while now and haven't had any issues, so I guess I like it. This is my stuff which makes my Python API, so I can use SciTE and to run Python and execute Python script and have it dump it in here and interactively, which is really helpful. Here, by the way, is I wanted to say open right here, this data filter, right? I created looking at different files. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that. So I created one called data, and then I said data is any of these extensions. And then now when I say here open, and I choose, this is what, look how small it is. So these are my different text file versions, right? And it's basically allowing me to control, oh, here's where I called the data text. I guess I should have been consistent, called it data. But it allows me to easily open text, CSV, or TSV file extensions and save them too, which is nice because those weren't built in. But when you want to have it more than one, right, that's just how you handle that. And then whether you want it to use, how deep of a tab, so when I hit tab, how far in does it go, right? Let me see if this is dynamic, so I'll save that. No, that I think, yeah, it looks like that requires a restart. But that's how you can control how big a tab is to keep track of what directory you're in, so this will automatically do that. This technology, this is the other one I was referring to about with laptops, and I think it has more to do with just poor video cards. That and now that at work I had a really hard time with it, but now I'm going to go ahead and set this to 1 because I had problems with my laptop. Wow, did you dynamically? Let me see this. So notice a subtle change there. It made it seems to be a little stronger in text. So I'm gonna keep that there and hopefully remember if this is what I did in anti-alias drawing. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it did cure some of my, what was it called? Not like the refreshing and stuff. It wasn't looking. It would be sporadic and not look good, and so that actually fixed it on my laptop. And because I keep everything synced across all my computers, I just left it there. But now that I don't really use the laptop that much, I can go ahead and switch it back. I'm just skimming along here. So this is where I'm setting my margin width. The toolbar is too large. That'll reset when I reload it. Here this is where I'm adding the other items to, I think it's up in here. So notice these, submit selection, open new window. These I've added these, open URL in browser. So if I had a URL selected, I could hit this or hit apparently control, what is that, single quote, and it would open the URL in our browser. Or I can have it control shift S apparently. We'll do that. But this is how I've configured those in SciTE. I have a bunch grayed out or commented out, which I don't use. And okay, and that's basically it. Does anybody have anything specific with SciTE that wasn't covered, that they're trying to do or having issues with? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Now, for those of you that are interested in Cap Odin's question about, oh, I think Google Cloud OneNote does that for you. Yeah, that ABBYY. Is that what it's called? Was it two B's? Or two Y's? What I did, I found a couple tools onto extracting text from a PDF. One is Snap OCR. It's an API service you can connect to and extract text from a PDF. So that was one, the Snap OCR. But the other one I did was, let me see where. I think I put it under, because I was working with some real estate stuff, and I may not have moved it over. Let's see if it is under PDF, Word to PDF. So all of these Arch. This actually, if I remember correctly, is like the COM accessible access for PDFs from Adobe. GhostScript is a free service also that you can use to extract text. PDF to text, the same thing. Word, actually, you can. I did that some, and it worked okay. Where you can open a file in Word, you can open a PDF in Word, and then get the text. All of those worked pretty well. And then the GhostScript, I think I also used, where you can basically that and the PDF to text, you can, there are programs, if I recall, that you can download, and you can send the PDF to it, and it will dump out. So this Capel RT, let me see, here's the Capel PDF, and let me explain some of the quick pluses and minuses. So this was the PDF, right? And you can see it's, so that was the other thing that really threw me, is I would look in here and go, look, I can highlight this stuff. It's not an image. But in reality, it is an image. It's that the even here I'm using Chrome, it is converting it, it's doing OCR on it, I believe, and grabbing and converting it somewhat to text. It really confused me for a while, because sometimes I would run the same thing, like this is the Capel one, and let's see if it was a Carlton one that did it. No, it still did it, but when I would export it, it was exporting images instead of text from Word. And let's see, this is the Word. That is the PDF version of it, which wasn't terrible, right? But I think this is, because the files are in here, this is the PDF to text I used, and basically you can just send it. Let me see. Yeah, so this is the command I did for that, right? I would have the path of the file and just add it with the command line stuff, and it would do okay. But what I finally got working, and I need to publish it on the forum because it was awesome, is the Acrobat Object. I was able to use the Acrobat Object and use this Acro Exchange PDF thing to use COM and basically grab exactly what I wanted, extract stuff, save it beautifully, and that was it. The problem is it doesn't come with the free version, and so you have to either pony up and buy the new version, the full version, or like I did initially. I had a version, what was it, like 8, or something, a really old version, and it worked pretty well. Unfortunately, it didn't work great, and I noticed the other text, the free ones I was mentioning here, would extract the text better. And I thought, I wonder if it's the version of Adobe Creator that I'm using is so old. And sure enough, when I got the new version, it was extracting the text really well, and dumping it into a nice format. Oh, that's what it was also. The other ones didn't do well with like the line breaks and things, right? It was funky as far as it would grab the text, but it didn't have the even line, the line breaks. It would be sometimes one continuous long sentence. The text would be there, but for some reason it wouldn't bring in the paragraph marks and things. And Word typically did pretty well, but it was a little clunky. And anyway, so the new version does a great job of extracting the data. I built the object where you could say export it as different file formats. You can dump it into XML. You can dump it into just a plain text. There were a lot of options. It was pretty awesome. I think that you generate the PDF with the OCR. I'm not sure, Catmon, because you generate the PDF with the OCR. Wouldn't that be the reverse? Anyway, I don't know if that, and I'll, if you want, ping me and I'll email you some of the stuff I did, because it's pretty awesome. And also, I think I could probably just give you the Acro Exchange file. That's where I get, and I know you're much more a programmer than I. I don't know if I can just give you the what this is leveraging instead of having the full version and just play with it. But it was pretty awesome. But I did do, let me, because I can jump to it, I think, pretty quickly here. My friend in the Boy Scouts, he would get PDFs and manually have to go through, and I came on him one day, he was sitting in a Starbucks, manually looking at the file and typing the numbers out of 8 pages of just going through stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? And so I said, when he explained what he was doing, I said, let me have a couple hours and I'll get back to you. And so I wrote this script because I would use Word and basically pick the file. I think I was dumping it into Excel after, but I would use Word to, let's see, Word would open the PDF, activate it, copy the text from it, and then I did a regular expression because I wanted to get rid of some of the junk, and then I would dump it into Excel, and actually I would even keep just the columns he wanted, and then it took him seconds, of course, instead of hours, but that was a great easy way to grab it. But if you have a new version of Word, I would definitely give it a look if you already have it, because it was easy to use and to try with the COM object. Yeah, the screenshot, the resolution becomes an issue to me. It depends what format, what the PDF is in, right? Let me see. Like this works great, right? It's clearly it's text from a computer, but this other one, this is where when you start doing screenshots and how do you get the whole thing, and depending on what you're doing, it can be tricky, and it starts because the resolution itself from a screenshot sucks, right? The quality really goes to hell when you take it as a screenshot versus if you can extract an image that's in there. Sometimes the image is high quality, and then use the image to do OCR on it. That would be, I think, a little slightly better approach than just doing a screenshot. But hey, it gets back to try it with the screenshot approach, and if it works, go with it. Does anybody else have any other questions on anything? I'll take that as a no. Awesome. Well, I hope everyone, and the other thing I'd say is like I said, back up your user properties file, and then baby step into it, make some tweaks, and then get used to it. Go back and make a few more tweaks. Don't try and make too many changes at once. But boy, it can really be helpful to customize site to what your needs are. Yeah, I'll, after we do this, especially since it was a shorter webinar in the sense of not a lot of resources, I will get this out, I think, later this evening. Shouldn't be a problem. So I'll send out an email. I got to assume all of you are subscribed to the list, and then we'll have the videos and the this file, which I got to remind myself to do that. If I don't, please someone ping me. But it's actually, now that I think about it, an older version is, I believe, yeah, because and for the love of God, please don't watch it because it's crazy long. I think it's like 2 hours. But I went through. I think I have enough links on my start page here. Where's my? So customizing user properties file. This one, I link to the file. Oh, here's the system variable site video review of my site user properties file. Okay, and somewhere in here I swear I had the link to the file. Boy, man, I thought I did. So good. Oh, here it is. You can download it right here. Right. This is a little bit older than my current one, right? But it is available online right now. Let me see actually if I can. Oh, no, apparently I didn't have that issue there where I was continuing the line with that comment. But yeah, it is available there, but I'd like to go update it. But this video, like I said, is like 2 hours long where I talk through line by line, and that's why on the webinar we covered everything and probably more than I had in there. And then even then on this page, I have them kind of broken out in specific things of what you can do and how to do them. Alrighty, well, thank you all for attending. I'll work on getting these out, the links and videos out, and we haven't decided exactly what the next webinar is going to be on yet, but I'm sure we'll have something fun. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great evening. Cheers.